is going on, everybody? It is your boy Arrows. We're rocking our new big chillin' t-shirt that we got from EB Games, and we are going to be talking to you today about the European International Championship, which has happened this past weekend. Fun fact: I actually wanted to record this video yesterday. It was family day, and so I was off of work, but I was super freaking sick, like so bad. Like I spent all day in bed. So our content for the week is a little bit askew, but we're doing what we can. So let's talk about the EUIC. Again, this was the biggest event in Europe. 4,010 players, which is insane. That's a lot of people playing Pokemon. We love it. So we're just gonna look at the decks, the most successful decks of the weekend. We had most played, I guess I should say. We had 160 Dragapult variants, which is crazy. That deck is definitely positioned to be the best deck in the new format, which is coming up in April. 125 Gardevoir, 104 Goldengo, and 83 Charizards. These decks are all rotating in late March, early April. Goldengo is gone. The regulation goes from, the block goes from block H on, which will take Gardevoir, Goldengo, Charizard all out of the format, which is crazy. Absol box, which ended up winning, spoilers, the event, had 61 total players. Marnie's Grimmsnarl, 57. Raging Bolt, 31. Raging Bolt is another deck that I believe dies in the next format, as it loses Earthen Vessel and Professor Sada's Vitality. Two cards that really make that deck work. I think that there could be a way to play it without those cards, and it's something that I'm going to be looking at in a video for next week, how to play Raging Bolt post rotation. 12 Crustals, and then it drops down. 11 Alakazams, 10 Mega Kangaskhan's. This I'm going to assume is the variant with Bouffalot, of course. Positioned to potentially be a pretty strong deck going forward. I think we lose Energize, though. I think it is Regulation G. Yes, it is G block. So we will lose that post-rotation. And Zoroark position at number 9. This is another deck that I think is going to be really, really strong in the new format. Mostly because like a lot of these big power decks of the top 4 definitely leave the format. So let's take a look at the results. So we had Edwin Mesman coming in first with Absol, Mega Absol box. Probably another really strong deck for the post-rotation with Dragapult. I feel like it's going to be Dragapult, Mega Absol box vying for the top spot in the post-rotation. Drew Stevenson came in second with Goldengo Rocks. The best way to play Goldengo. Mega Absol coming in number 3. And we had Zoroark number 4. Gardevoir number 5. Another Zoroark. Another Dragapult Charizard. There's a variant you don't see very often. Charizard Owls, Charizard Birds, really, really good deck. And then another Mega Absol box. This was the first time in a long time that 3 Mega Absol boxes have made the top cut, which is insane. You guys do not know, Pokemon with rules changes, they've switched down to a top 16. So they play phase 1, phase 2, and then the top 16. So let's take a look at the lists. So you're going to find all these Mega Absol boxes are pretty similar in design. It is all about taking those key knockouts. So we are running 3 copies of Monkey Dory. This has, in my opinion, been the star of this format. With its ability Adrenabrain, if it has any dark energy attached to it, you can move up to 3 damage counters from one of your Pokemon to one of your opponent's Pokemon. This just sets up a lot of KOs that a lot of cards don't genuinely have the option to. 2 copies of Mega Absol EX, 280 HP. Its terminal period attack lets you, for a dark and a colorless, if your opponent's active Pokemon has exactly 6 damage counters on it, that Pokemon is knocked out. A couple of Monkey Dories will make that really, really easy, assuming you have the damage on your side of the field. 2 Mega Kangaskhan with its Run Errand ability lets you draw an extra card, draw 2 cards if it's your active Pokemon. And then for 3 energy, it does 200 plus. You flip a coin until you get tails. That does 50 more for each head. So if you get 2 heads, 300 damage. You get 3 heads, 350. You won't get no heads. You're still dealing a base 200, which is still really, really good. 2 copies of Toad School, 1 copy of Toad Scrool. Cards in your opponent's discard pile can't be put into their hand by the effects of your opponent's abilities and trainer cards. So you cannot recycle cards with Night Stretcher. You can't do anything that puts cards into your opponent can't do anything that puts cards into their hand. 1 Latias, giving your big beefy basics free retreat. Blood Moon Ursaluna is a great card, a comeback card if your opponent is a head-on prizes, because its attack requires 1 less for each prize card your opponent has taken. So if your opponent's taken 4 prize cards, this requires 4 less energy to damage. 1 copy of Psyduck. This is in here for your Dragapult matchup. Your opponent can't blow up their Dusclopses or Dust Snores to put damage counters on the board. Yes, your opponent can take it out relatively quickly with 6 damages with 2 Phantom Dives by putting all 6 damage on that Psyduck in the first one, putting 1 on the next one, but you're still stopping them from setting up those clutch multi-KO turns by stopping their Dusclopses from doing their thing. Pheasantipity, this is the comeback card. If you are playing a deck, you are playing Pheasantipity, you see it in pretty much every deck, and there's a reason for that. It lets you draw 3 cards if one of your Pokemon was knocked out on your opponent's turn, which those 3 cards can easily get you back into the game. 1 copy of Petrant EX. This lets you switch and poison. This could be really, really good. Once during your turn, you may switch one of your benched dark Pokemon, except any Petrant, with your active Pokemon. If you do, the new active Pokemon is now poisoned. You can't use more than 1 subjugating chains a turn. This is just a really good card. Really gets you into solid positions for attacks. And then if you attack with it, Irritated Outburst does 60 damage for each prize card your opponent has taken. And then 1 Yveltal, it has Clutch, 20 damage, and your opponent's Pokemon can't retreat on their next turn. Not a lot of people are running switches nowadays, so this is actually going to be really good for you. Put up a big bosses orders up a big Pokemon, put it out there, make it so they can't retreat, set your board up. 4 copies of Arven, in my opinion, quite possibly the best supporter in the game right now. Lets you search for an item, lets you search for a tool. Just a really good card. This version of this deck, I love. It's running 4 copies of Bosses Orders. There was a time when people were only running 1 copy of Bosses Orders, and I'm like, why? I think running 4 is good. Like, you want to be able to bring up something and KO it. This is going to let you do that. 3 copies of Lily's Determination. Lets you search your deck, lets you shuffle your hand into your deck, draw 6 cards. If you haven't taken any prizes, lets you draw 8. It's just a really good way to get out of being Iono'd, which this deck is running 2 of them. Iono, each player shuffles their hand and puts it on the bottom of their deck. If either player put any cards on the bottom of their decks in this way, each player draws a card for each of their remaining prizes. Iono is unfortunately leaving us this format, as is Arven. So we're going to see a huge, huge supporter shift in the next format, which I'm super excited for. Iono is just a great, like, if you're behind, it really slows your opponent down. 2 copies of Penny, another card that is rotating out this format. Put one of your basic Pokemon and all cards attached to it into your hand. 2 copies of Earthen Vessel. Discard a card from your hand. Search your deck for 2 energies and put them in your hand. 2 Night Stretchers. 2 Pokegear. Pokegear lets you search for a supporter. 2 Energy Switch. It's just a really good card. 2 Ultra Ball. The best generic search card in the game. I love the use of Precious Trolley here. This is such a great card. It literally lets you fill up your bench. Like, it's so good. 1 Counter Catcher for the games you're behind. This also rotates out this format. Jumbo Ice Cream. This is just a really good heal card. Between this and your Monkey Dories taking damage off of your Mega Kangaskhan's, which is primarily what it's going to be in here, is for your Mega Kangaskhan. You're going to be able to really keep that Pokemon alive for a good amount of time, allowing it to take some like clutch KOs. 2 Bravery Charm. This rotates, but it gives you an additional 50 HP on your basics. 2 Technical Machine, Turbo Energize. This is what makes this deck really, really good. And this is the loss. This is the card loss this format that I think is going to hurt this deck a little bit. Search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards and attach them to your bench Pokemon in any way you like. Then shuffle your deck. This is a really, really good card. This lets you get your Kangaskhan's active really early. It's going to be very interesting to see how this deck functions without this card. One Team Rocket's Watchtower, colorless Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponents have no abilities. This is really only hurting your Mega Kangaskhan and your Blood Moon Ursaluna. Obviously, you're not going to play it if you're going to be doing all this stuff. One Town Store, let's search your deck for your 4 tools. And then one Lively Stadium, each basic Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponents, gets plus 30 HP. So this leaves, but that doesn't matter because this all leave. So this deck loses like quite a bit to the rotation. Not so much in the Pokemon aspect of it, although we do lose the Toedscool and Toedscruel. But this deck loses a lot in the trainers aspect for post-rotation. It's going to be very interesting to see how it bounces back. Next, we have the second place winner playing Goldengo Rocks, or Goldengo Lunatone for people who don't put fancy nicknames on things. It's running four Gimme Ghoul, all the minor errand running ones. This is a really good card to have if you're playing second, which means you can attack first, and you have a Gimme Ghoul active. It lets you search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. For Goldengo, Goldengo is such a good card. 260 HP on a stage 1. It has the ability Coin Bonus. Once per turn, you may draw a card. If this Pokemon is in your active spot, draw a second card. And then Make It Rain, discard any number of basic energy from your hand, and it does 50 damage for each energy. Really good card. And then we're powering it up. We're powering it up in this format, this set, with Solrock and Lunatone. Solrock is a strong first turn attacker if you can get the Lunatone active, because it's going to let you take out Raltses. It's going to take out Charmanders. It's going to take out Dreepies. It's going to take out Marnie's Grimmsnarls. It's going to take out, and it's going to put your opponent a little bit behind if you're able to. If they only open with one of those Pokemon, they don't get another one out. You are going to be really putting them on a pivot. They're going to have to pivot really well to get over that, because you can attack them on your attacking turn with Solrock. Lunatone lets you discard a fighting energy from your hand, draw 3 cards. You can only use this if you have Solrock in play, so like they feed off each other very well. Lunatone uses Solrock to get you a lot of cards. Solrock uses Lunatone to put out some strong early damage on your first attacking turn. Genesect searches for Metal Pokemon, Metal Evolution Pokemon. So it's over in here. It's only getting your Goldengos, but when you can search for Goldengos with this, it lets you free up your Ultra Balls. If you're running them, it lets you free up any of your other searching stuff for other things. Pheasantipity, we talked about Pheasantipity. Mega Mawile. This card is fantastic, and I think it might be a card to watch out for in the next set. It has 270 HP. Fire weakness is kind of annoying. But for 2 metal energy, Gobble Down does 80 damage for each prize card you have taken. So if you're ahead in the game, this card is so good for you. And then for Huge Bite, for 2 metal and a colorless, it does 260 damage. If your opponent's active Pokemon already has any damage counters on it, this base attack is 30. So obviously that is set up for 1-turn KOs. If you've done something to put damage on your opponent, it's going to be a lot less. And then Hops Cramorant. If your opponent doesn't have exactly 3 or 4 prizes left, this card does nothing. It's just a really strong attacker. A 120 is nothing to joke about. 4 Arven, 4 bosses. It really makes me happy that people are running multiples of these now. 2 Professor Turo's Scenario. This is another really strong card that we're losing in rotation. Put one of your Pokemon in play into hand. Discard all cards attached to that Pokemon. 4 Superior Energy Removal. You are discarding energy from your hand consistently and constantly with Goldengo. This is going to let you get that stuff back. 4 Nest Balls. I think this is probably one of the biggest losses of this format is Nest Ball. Letting you get rid of easy ways to access your Pheasantipides, your other cards that do not fall into Buddy Poffin's 70 HP limit. So this is gonna be a really big loss. 3 Earthen Vessels, of course, because we want all the energy in our hand. 3 Fighting Gong. This is a really strong card in this deck. It lets you search for a basic fighting Pokemon or a fighting energy and add them to your hand. 2 Buddy Poffin. Again, we talked about Nest Ball leaving really makes it harder to get some of these bigger HP Pokemon that are basic onto your bench. Monkey Dory isn't accessible with Buddy Buddy Poffin. Pheasantipity isn't accessible with Buddy Buddy Poffin. Not that you could get it with, no, I guess you could get it with Battle VIP Pass. One secret box. This is perfect for this deck. I discard. You can only use this card if you discard 3 other cards from your hand. Search your deck for a stadium, an item, a supporter, and a tool. Add them all to your hand. 1 super rod. Recycle stuff. 2 air balloons. You want to have things with free retreat, especially this Lunatone, and you don't want them to bring that up and put it in the active spot while they rebuild. Putting this on Genesect, it's fantastic. It has 2 retreat. Mega Mall Wow has 2 retreat. 1 Vitality Band, doing an additional 10 damage, adds up. 1 Bravery Charm, again, giving everything an additional 58. Giving your basics an additional 50 HP is really strong. And 1 Artisan. This is another really strong card that we are losing. It's another great way of getting your basic Pokemon that do not fall into Buddy Buddy Poffin's purview onto the field. We'll look at Ends Zoroark. This is another deck that I think is going to be really, really strong post-rotation. We got 4 copies of Ends Zoroark, 4 copies of Ends Zoroark EX. Trade, you may discard a card from your hand in order to use this ability. Once during your turn, you may draw 2 cards. And then Night Joker, for 2 dark, you can choose one of your benched Ends Pokemon, wow, attacks, and use it as this attack. We're running 2 copies of Ends Darumaka. Look at that guy, he's so cute. And then 2 copies of Ends Darmanitan. Has 140 HP. Backdraft. This does 30 damage for each basic energy in your opponent's discard pile. Or Flame Body Cannon does 90 damage. Discard all energy from this Pokemon. And this attack also does 90 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. That is just really strong attack. Ends Reshiram has powerful Rage. Does 20 damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. Now, we're not talking about their energy cost because they're all in here for Ends Zoroark, I think. Yeah, they're all in here for Ends Zoroark. And then Virtuous Flame does 170. We're running Badoo, Monkey Dory. Monkey Dory, why wouldn't you? It's just such a strong card. Pheasantipity, Petarant. Again, everything is that you're going to want to switch is dark, so why wouldn't you? Oh, excuse me. And 1 copy of Blood Moon Ursaluna. So, in here, we're running 4 copies of Lily's Determination, 3 Boss's Orders, 2 Cyranos. Search your deck for up to 3 Pokemon EX, reveal them, put them in your hand, then shuffle your deck. This is just a really strong card. Especially in a post rotation where we lose a lot of our good searches. 2 Iono, 1 Black Belt's Training. We do an additional 40 damage to our opponent's Pokemon EX. 1 Turo Scenario, 4 Buddy Buddy, 3 Stretcher, 2 Ends PP Up. Lets you attach a basic energy from your discard pile to one of your benched Ends Pokemon. 2 Counter Catcher. This deck does fall behind in prizes quite often because you are, of course, building up and setting up for your big hits. So having this is a really good card. 1 Ultra Ball, 1 Nest Ball, 1 Palpad, 1 Secret Box. This is just such a good A-Spec. Air Balloon, Power Glass, Artisan, Team Rocket's Watchtower, and Ends Castle. Your Ends Pokemon in play have Ends Pokemon in play. Both yours and your opponents have no retreat cost. This is another strong deck that I think is going to be really, really good post-format. It does have a slight weakness to like the Goldengos and the Charizards because they do hit really hard, really fast. Whereas this deck needs some time to like get itself set up. Obviously, this is probably one of the biggest weaknesses of this deck. I played against one in my League Cup a couple weeks ago in Kingston, and I was able to win 2-0 because I was able to keep the Ends Reshirams off the field. Now, I don't think his version was running Darmanitans, but I was able to keep the Ends Reshirams off the field and essentially rendered his Ends Zoroark useless. Now, we are getting an Ends Zekrom as well in Ascended Heroes, so that's technically out now, but the set doesn't become legal until March, 3 weeks after the ETB releases. So that'll see some play in here. It's just another really strong card that works really well with Zoroark. Very interested to see where this deck goes from there. So Gardevoir. Obviously, Gardevoir, you know what Gardevoir does. 3 Ralts, 2 Curlia, 2 Gardevoir EX. This version, ironically enough, was not running the Mega Deontay. I think that's what took me by surprise with this one when I was looking at it initially. This version didn't run Mega Deontay, and I think that's crazy because Mega Deontay is such a strong card for this deck. It takes 30 less damage from attacks, and it is able to one-shot a lot of Pokemon. Let's look at the list. We have 3 Ralts, 2 Kirlia, 2 Gardevoir, staple Gardevoir line, 3 Munkidori, 1 Screamtail, 1 Frillish in here to put your opponent in an item lock, 1 Mew, 1 Lily's Clefairy, 1 Fez. Pretty generic Gardevoir line here. Into our supporters, 4 Iono, 4 Lily, 2 Arven, 1 Professor Turo, 4 Ultra Ball, 3 Vessel, 2 Nest Ball, 2 Rare Candy, 2 Stretcher, 2 Counter Catcher. Again, this is another deck that's not taking a lot of prizes early. Will probably fall behind. Counter Catcher is such a really good card for this deck. 1 Rod, 1 Box, 2 Technical Machine Evolution. This is just a really strong way to get your board going, even if you go second. 1 Bravery Charm. Bravery Charm and Luxurious Cape on Screamtail is insanely good. It enables you to take out pretty much whatever you want with Screamtail's ability. And 2 Artisan. 2 Artisan, I think, is a strong play here because it is going to let you fill up your bench a lot faster, and it might help you in a Stadium War. 8 Psychic, 3 Dark. This is a pretty standard Gardevoir list. I am a little surprised they're not running the Mega Deontay EX. Also, I feel like the Frillish is kind of out of place here. But I could be wrong. Obviously, they made top 10, so they were doing something right. I don't understand the Frillish itself. I don't really understand why there's no Mega Deontay EX. Then we will look at our last 2, 3. Charizard, Dragapult. You don't see this version a lot, so it's crazy that it made it in the top 10. Like, you do not see, this is probably the least played version of Dragapult and of Charizard. So we got 4 Dreepy, 4 Dracoloak. This is such a good card. Recon Directive. Once during your turn, you may look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put one of them into your hand, put the other card on the bottom of your deck. This is just a really good card. 2 Dragapult EX. This is just probably the best attacker in the game right now. 200 damage, flat 200 damage. Doesn't need anything. Puts 6 damage counters on your opponent's bench Pokemon any way that you like. Really good card. 3 Charmander, 1 Charmeleon, 2 Charizards. Charizard's just really good. Charizard helps accelerate the energy needed to get off with Dragapult 2. These two complement each other very, very well. 1 Badoo, you want to slow your opponent down. 1 Munkidori, 1 Halucha. I'm really sad to see Halucha go. It's such a good card. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may choose 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon and put 1 damage counter on each. 1 Chi-Yu. This is just a really, really good comeback card. Lets you attach energy if you have to open with it, which is really good. From your discard, which is pretty easy to do. And then for 2 Fire Energy, Mega Fire of Envy. I love that attack name. Does 50 damage plus 90 more damage, and if any of your Pokemon were knocked out during your last turn. And of course, 1 Fez, 4 Lilies, 3 Bosses, 3 Arven, 3 Iono, 1 Acerolas Mischief. I really would like to see this card see some more play. You can only use this card if your opponent has 2 or fewer prizes remaining. Choose one of your Pokemon in play during your opponent's next turn. Prevent all damage from and effects of attacks done to that Pokemon by your opponent's Pokemon EX. You're going to make them have to play around that final prize. 4 Buddy Buddy, 4 Ultra Ball, 2 Candy, 1 Super Rod, 1 Stretcher, 1 Counter Catcher, 1 Unfair Stamp. You do not see this card seeing a lot of play anymore. It's just a really good card. If your opponent's taking a prize on their last turn, you make them shuffle their hand in their deck. You draw 5, they draw 2. This is just a really good card. 1 Air Balloon and 1 Evolution. Again, this is another deck that you want all 4 of these out as quickly as possible because you want to be cycling through your deck, getting those cards that you need to set up those strong plays. And then we have Charizard Birds. This deck is just amazing. Like, the amount of searching that this deck can do is insane. We have 3 Hoot Hoots, 3 Noctowls, Jewel Seeker. Once during your turn, when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, if you have any Terra Pokemon in play, you may search your deck for up to 2 trainer cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand. So, boom, you evolve into Charizard, or you play Wellspring Ogremon, or you play Terrapagos. You have a lot of options here. Early game options in Wellspring Ogerpon and Terrapagos. Late game options in Charizard. 2 Duskull, 1 Dusclops, 1 Dusknoir, 1 Pidgey, 1 of each Pidgey. That's really cool. 1 Pidgeotto, 2 Pidgeot. Rip Pidgeot, leaving the format this rotation. 2 Fanrodoms. This gets you pretty much whatever you need. 1 Klefki. This is in here to let your Dusclopses, Dusknoirs go off. This negates Psyduck's ability. As long as this Pokemon is the active spot, basic Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponents have no abilities except for Mischievous Lock. So this shuts off Psyduck's damp ability, allowing you to blow up your Dusclopses and Dusknoirs to put some damage on the board. 1 Ditto. This is also a really good card. If it's in your active position, you may search your deck and choose a Pokemon you find there. Except Ditto, if you do discard basic Pokemon. You do discard Ditto and put the chosen Pokemon in its place. And 1 Fez. Again, like I said, this is the card you put in every deck. 1 Wellspring Ogerpon. This stops your opponent from retreating. And then with Torrential Pump, you can shuffle 3 energies attached to this Pokemon into your deck. If you do, this attack does 120 damage to one of your bench Pokemon on top of the 100 that's going to do the active. It's a really good card. And then 1 Terrapagos. The cool thing about this is Charizard doesn't say where you have to put the energy. So you can put the energy on the Terrapagos, on the Wellspring Ogerpon, and do some really cool things. For Dawn, this card is amazing in this deck. You're running a lot of stage 1, stage 2s, and basics. Being able to get whatever you want is really good. 2 Boss's Orders, 1 Iono. 1 Briar. You can only use this card if your opponent has exactly 2 prizes remaining. If your opponent's active Pokemon is knocked out from damage by damage from an attack of a Terra Pokemon, take an extra card. You bring up a 1 prizer. If you can't kill any 2 prizers, kill it. Boom. There you go. 4 Candy, 4 Buddy Buddy. This is just really strong in this deck. It gets you everything you need. 3 Nest, 1 Ultra, 1 Stretcher, 1 Rod, 1 Catcher. You're taking KOs whenever you want. Of course, you're running Catcher. And then 2 Area 0 Underpass. This lets your bench size go to 8, both yours and your opponents, if they control a Terra Pokemon. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 Terra in here. You're going to almost always have this active, giving you those extra 3 bench spots. Really good. And if they get rid of it, you just get rid of some of these Pokemon that you're not using, that have a one and done effect, like Fanrotom or Noctowl or Hoothoots. Really easy. 5 Fire, 1 Water, 1 Jet. I will not lie to you all. Under 10 energies, I'm trying really hard to get out of this mindset that under 10 energies is bad. Because obviously not. People are winning with it. Yeah, I really like this deck. It is really upsetting that so much of this deck rotates. Like, we lose Charizard, we lose Pidgeotto, we lose Ditto, we lose Klefki. Like, so many good cards in this format are rotating. Crazy. Then we were only looking at the top 10. So let's look at number 10. This is Gardevoir Jellicent, another deck that is really strong, that is leaving this format. Pretty much this deck runs off the same principle as a Gardevoir, except for you're using Jellicent and Frillish to stop your opponent from doing stuff in the early game. We have 3 rolls, 2 Kirlia, 2 Gardevoir, 3 Munkidori, 2 Frillish, 1 Jellicent. Oceanic Curse. As long as this Pokemon is in the act spot, your opponent can't play any items or tools from their hand. And then Power Press does 80. If you have this Pokemon has at least 2 extra energy attached to it, does 80 more. So 160, but you're stopping your opponent from doing a ton of stuff. 1 Screamtail, 1 Lily's Clefairy, 1 Fez, 1 Mew. Pretty much the same as Gardevoir. 4 Lilies, 4 Iono, 2 Arven, 1 Professor Turo Scenario, 4 Ultra, 3 Earthen, 2 Candy, 2 Nest, 2 Stretcher, 1 Box, 1 Counter Catcher, 1 Super Rod, 1 Evolution, 1 Luxurious Cape, 1 Bravery Charm, 1 Artisan, 1 Mystery Garden. Once during each player's turn, that player may discard an energy card from their hand in order to draw out cards until they have as many cards in their hand as they have psychic Pokemon in play. Ugh. This is a really good card, especially if you've been Iono'd and you're down a lot, but you have a lot of psychic Pokemon in play. Play this, get your cards, get a bunch of cards, really good. And then 8 Psychic, 3 Darkness. Is there any difference in the top 6? No, there is not. So that is your top. That is your top deck. Your top 10. Obviously, these ones are probably a lot of the same. Toward Redcliffe, yeah, a lot of the same. Oh no, this is way different. That's cool. Cornerstone Mask Ogre Pawn. That's a really good card next format. All right. Anyway, that is your European International Championship. That is your top 10. What do you guys think of the format? This was probably, I think this might have been the last big. Like obviously we have I believe we have a couple of regionals before set rotation, but this was the last I see before set rotation. What do you guys think of the top 10? What do you think of the format going so far? Are you excited for set rotation? Do you think the format is getting really dull and bland? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Don't forget, we also post RPG content. Arrows does RPGs. I'll need to update this. This is not the same anymore. We do lots of other content on Twitch. Arrows Incorporated. Go check us out there. We stream. We try to stream at least 3 or 4 times a week. We post a lot of content here. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, ding the notification bell if you want to be alerted whenever we post anything else. As always, friends, my name is Arrows. I like card games, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.